Scene 1, take 7. Hey y'all, artist poet girl here, also known as APG Jamie, and today we're gonna make a PockaLope. That's a name I made up. It's an envelope pocket thingy, mini tag holder, purse, journal, note taker thingy. So I'm using junk mail return envelopes. You know, sometimes you get junk mail and they send you those return envelopes that you really don't never use. Don't never. And I'm going to use a couple of those. Well, I'm only going to use one in the video because I already used one for my prototype, and then I started making another one and it didn't work out, so I've cast it aside. But I got ideas working for how to fix it. So my measurements will not be really valuable to y'all at all, because yours is all going to depend on if you decide to make one of these, which I think you should because they're kind of fun. You have to figure them out each step of the way pretty much. But anyway, your envelope, however you choose to pronounce it, will have its own individual measurements. Okay, so there I'm taking some of my painty papers. I'm not out of them yet, but it's getting close. Okay. And I'm using the envelope itself to measure with, and sometimes I use a ruler over there. And y'all know I have lots of rulers. I just don't answer to them. And I'm going to use the ATG, and this particular roll of double-sided tape that's in it is actually on the roll correctly. As y'all may recall, I've had issues from time to time with some of the tape being on there backwards. It happens. It's happened to a couple of my other friends, so it's not just me. Okay, I'm not the only special person out there. Others. And so that's what I'm doing. Sometimes I'm going to use some Aleene's original tacky glue. And this particular painty paper is painty cardstock paper. Okay, y'all remember when I did that floating paper? I'll put a link up in the iCard because it was just so crazy fun. Now I don't have what are those distressed ink pads? I guess that's what it is, because I like my ink to kind of stay put. I do love the distress oxides, just saying, because they're different. Anyways, I use Archival because it doesn't move if I accidentally get it wet, or if I put glue over it, or matte medium or whatnot and such. So that's what I'm using. Coffee, because I don't have vintage photo or any of those other type of color. I do have a crap load of color. I mean a bunch of colors, y'all. And I've just used it like a little 1/2-inch circle punch to punch like a little thumb notch. And this is just a little oval die cut. I don't remember the brand right offhand, y'all. Okay, I got it from Tuesday morning a long time ago. Anyway, I'm just using it as a little closure type doohickey. It's a doohickey, okay, a closure doohickey, and it's oval. And that's pretty color cardstock. I'm almost surprised it goes with this painty paper, because this painty paper is essentially red, and the color of the cardstock is kind of a corally color, but it worked really nicely, in my opinion. Okay. So there's some more coral. Not Carl from The Walking Dead, but coral. Well, I guess it could have been coral from The Walking Dead. Anyway, trimming that up, I sort of measured it, and I'm going to check and see if it fits. Yeah, it's kind of fitting. Gets out some more of that ATG. Now, the benefit of the ATG is it is a dry, double-sided tape, and it doesn't warp your papers as much. And return envelopes, well, actually, any envelopes are pretty thin paper, if you think about it. They are. Bone folder, not a real bone. And there's a little bit of excess sticky on the outside, so I'm rubbing that off with my finger. But I caution you, if you should do that, you could get a paper cut. I didn't this time, but it could happen. Now, I was going to trace and trim off for the right length, and I thought, no, you already tried that before. Remember the messed up one? So I'm leaving it long, so after I put my little insert doohickeys in there, you know, because when you fold it over, you got some bulk going on, and it changes the length of your little flip over thing. So this part's going to be a pocket. Now y'all saw I trimmed both ends slightly off of the envelope so that both ends can be open. All right, now lick the envelope shut. You don't have to lick it. You can use a baby wipe or wet your finger or even use glue. But I caution you if you put glue on that flap, because what's on there is paste. And as y'all know, paste and glue are not friends. Okay? Okay. So anyway, so I've got my little pocket flipped up on the bottom. And there's my little top flap that's going to wrap around from the back. Now, these are designed so that you can glue them into a journal if you want to. You can carry it around in your purse or your pocketbook or whatever you carry. I don't know if this would fit in a pocket unless it was coat pocket or jacket pocket. Maybe it would. Anyway, so these are just some scrap pieces of copy paper I had laying around because I couldn't think of what to do with them yet. And then I thought, oh, well, let's just use them and make it like a little notepad. Make it like a little notepad. So that's just a little strip of painty paper. And I'm trimming it down to like 1/2 inch. And I could have used my scoreboard to mark the center, but I'm just as easily, you know, folding it over halfway-ish. And going to ink those little edges, because sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't, because sometimes I forget. But anywho, I've got that, and I'm going to put that over the edge of the papers, and I'm going to staple it. Ta-da! Not a tiny attacher, but still a stapler. And I'm just smooshing down the staples on the back side and reinforcing that fold. And there it is. It slides right in there like it was made for it, y'all. And I didn't have to cut that paper down. It was already that size. I'm just saying, it really was. All I did was round the bottom corners. So that is some gold cardstock. And I'm trying not to have it face the camera too much because I do know it causes some glare and, you know, some like mirror-y kind of things, which can kind of weird people out. Me too sometimes. And so that's why I have it face down mostly. Now I have an Fiskars angle cutter, and that's what I used on the top piece. The bottom piece I'm going to round after I get my little sentiment on there. Which I might add, I heard on the radio the day I was making this, I went, I don't know, I went somewhere. It really doesn't matter. It's not important, is it? And I heard on the radio when I was coming back that little saying, and I thought, I loved it. I just loved it, and I had to use it. So I kept repeating it over and 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 over, ad nauseum, infinity, in my head until I got home so I could write it down. And as soon as I did that, I thought, I know what I'm going to use it for, and I know the perfect paper doll image I'm going to use too. And that's a Tim Holtz paper doll, by the way. Oh, list of ingredients in the description box below. Click on the word more to see more. Okay. And there's some something else is down in there that you do want to read about. Trust me on that, y'all, because it's for a limited time only. That's all I'm going to say about it. So that's some seam binding, and I had sprayed it off camera with like a glimmer mist pink and fossilized amber, and then I thought, I got it back over to my table, started drying it. I'm like, no, that's not quite the color I want. So I put some vintage photo spray ink on there, and liked it that, so that's what I'm doing. I'm like, no, that's too long, so cut it in half, and then I'm going to put it through there, and it actually ends up being perfect. Just perfect, I tell you. So we'll go over that sentiment in a minute. I don't know if you could read it in your video. Mine's, yeah, I just got this little tiny box that I'm editing in, and your window might be bigger and you might already read it, but we'll read it together at the end. And I'm going to ink around that, believe it or not. I know. And the color of ink I'm using right there is coffee. Did I say that already? So that's a little anti-static pillow thing I made myself. If anybody's curious, I will let you know if you should ask or email and ask, whatever. That is a dragonfly stamp. I don't know who made the stamp, but there you go. And that's embossing ink, which, as you know, is just a sticky ink. and I'm going to emboss it with some Ranger sticky embossing powder. Okay. Now I don't know, but you could use just any embossing powder, because this is like a technique. Come on, focus. There we go, focus. So I'm just brushing off some of the extra powder, even though I used my little embossing thing. Some extra powder stuck on there. Here you go, y'all. And I'm actually going to do that twice, even though once would have been enough, but for some reason I wanted to do it twice. We're going to foil this, y'all. Now, the foil I have is minc foil, but as far as I know, you could probably use any kind of that film foil stuff. God, I don't know. Word of caution, I don't know. So I'm going to cut it after I heat that up. Okay, pour it back in the container. La, la, la. Okay, heat it up. Here you go, y'all. Okay, it's melted. Now I'm going to get my foil. Now, because this is sticky embossing powder, I can actually just rub it on there with my finger if the powder is still pretty warm. Okay? In this case, I'm going to try it through my laminating machine. Now, I actually ran it through there twice. I'm only showing you once. The first time it was cold and it did work. And I thought, well, I want more gold. So I heated up my little laminator, one step up from cold. And this is it coming out. Check it. Look, it's stuck. You're fixing to get it. Shimmer, shimmer. Look at that gold, y'all. Oh, I loves it. I got a little extra stuff on the outside. Around the outside like a trailer park girl. So I'm really happy with it. The cold, when I ran it through there cold, it came out a finer line. But because I'd also double embossed it, with the powder, there was more embossing powder to smoosh out when it got smashed and heated up. Okay? So now I'm going to decorate this little taggy thing, and I'm using the ATG, and that's just another little strip of painty paper, painted cardstock. And I thought, do I want to keep? No, I want to stamp it. I want to bring back some of them fine lines, which I can because it's a clear acrylic stamp. It's almost clear. Oh, look, it's so pretty, y'all. It made me stinking happy, y'all. So, anywho, now I've got a little tiny sliver of gold. I must have trimmed it off, and it was laying there, and I thought, well, I'm going to use that too. And I'm going to put it, I'm going to put it on there. Okay. Now, as y'all know, stuff doesn't necessarily like sticking to that super shiny, slick stuff, but the backside is pretty good. So now I'm going to cut my corners for a tag, and that part just didn't slip under there. So taking my corner from the other side and putting it on there, and then I was able to trim it with my scissors. Now I'm rounding the bottom, and here comes my sentiment. It's from, I used some Unbranded die, which was Elizabeth's Crafts, and it's the small dragonfly, which you haven't seen just yet. And all the rest are unbranded, which means they're from AliExpress. And I'm looking for my words, my sentiment, my words, my thank you, which are right there under my hand. And I just couldn't see them for diddly. Turn the camera off, and bam, there they were. So anyway, I'm using the Xyron because I'm wanting to put some sticky on the back. And, a smarter person would have put double-sided tape on the back of their paper before, they die cut it. Okay, just saying, because some people are a lot smarter than me. So going over that with the bone folder and trying to get in all the little nooks and crannies, and now I'm going to put it on there. It's a little curvy, and that's okay. That's some of the release paper. I'm just smooshing it around there. I can use a bone folder, not a real bone, just as easily as that release paper. It says thank you. Did I ask y'all to read the description box? There is some important information down there. Okay? And that particular little piece of seam binding I stapled on. Okay? And see, it just slides right in there because it's got 3 pockets, y'all. 3 pockets. Now I'm marking for my little flap over closure doohickey. Because, there's bulk in there, and you need just, I know it's like 1/8 of an inch or whatever it is. It's just a little bit, but you need that. See? And that's just going to stick right underneath that little tab doohickey right there, that little oval thing that we stick on. Oh, I forgot to tell you, this PockaLope was inspired by Paula Froder, and I'm probably not pronouncing her name right. Sorry. Link in the description box, and I will try to link in the iCards. I don't know how well that's going to work for. Okay, just saying. Any hooties. That's who this was inspired by, and she calls hers faux envelope fronts, but she also uses letter size envelope. Okay, so there's some differences. Okay, and there's probably not a whole lot that's new with as far as altering and doing envelopes, but anyway, this is just a twisty version for me. And that big dragonfly came on a whole sheet of other dies from AliExpress, and that's the little dragonfly that is from Elizabeth Crafts. So yeah, and they were small enough to fit in the Xyron, but the big one wouldn't fit, so I had to use wet glue on that, which is fine. And what am I doing now? Oh, my little flap over part, I thought it needed a little enforcement, so I'm just going to take a little strip of the painty paper and stick on the inside. Okay. And have I mentioned you're going to want to read the description box, at least for just a minute or two. Take my word for it. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Your kind comments, they matter, especially this time. Excuse me. So, anywho, your subscriptions, your shares, your likes, which equals thumbs up, y'all. Just saying, because I really did. And if you've not subscribed, if you would, I would appreciate you doing that. Doing that now. Be sure to click on that little bell, because that's a little reminder bell that gives you notices of, look how pretty it is, and it could be yours. Read the description box. Hint, 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 hint. Read the description box. Anywho, excuse me, there's a frog in my throat, or a dragonfly, one, I don't know. So, yeah, ring the little bell, because it gives you notifications and sends you emails of my new videos, which do go up on Friday mornings at 9 a.m. Central Time. That's Texas time, y'all. Look how cute that was. Oh, that sentiment says, voted most likely to stay awesome, and that's you, each and every one of y'all. Thanks for watching, and happy arting, y'all.